Assassin's Creed Odyssey puts us in the time of Greek gods and ancient Greece. The beautiful landscapes, strong characters, and a long-lasting gameplay, which sometimes show us even more than we want to know. So this game might be exhausting at some times, but also pretty rewarding. There was countless time I got addicted and was playing for a long time, and then I got so sick of the game that I had to put it down, play something else, and then eventually a month later I came back. So this is actually the reason why I'm making this video now, because I recently finished it so I could play the new Assassin's Creed Valhalla, which will be coming soon as well. But I kind of wanted to get this game out because I really like it and I want to share it with you. The problem why this game made me so long to play through is because sometimes I feel like at some point of the quest I get really bored, because it felt like the same, even though if I could like push through a little bit and the quest would change and then it get better. So it took me a really long time to play it. But by that, I'm not saying that the game is not good. I love it. It's one of my favorite games actually, but it just took me a long time because the gameplay is really long. So this is part of the reason as well, because I didn't have as much free time to actually go through games that are that long in a short period of time. So I want to talk about the story and what the game is actually about. So the story is set in 431 and 422 before Christ, where you have the option to pick either from a woman or man characters, either Alexios or Cassandra. What I chose was playing for Cassandra, which you're seeing the gameplay now. And so we are playing for a mercenary. In the game you're gonna hear the word mystios a lot, which is how they called mercenary in the ancient Greek. And so while you're playing, you are actually on nobody's side, so you can fight with Sparta. So you can fight with Sparta, or you can also fight for Athens, or something like that. So it's kind of cool to kind of like switch between sides. You pick up quests for one, killing the other, and then otherwise you just get money and level up and get better. The game is open world RPG and it's made by Ubisoft in 2018. And this game follows the Assassin's Creed Origins, and then comes Odyssey and Valhalla, which is the newest one that came out like 2 months ago or a month ago. So I found the narration very enjoyable, especially some side quests were so funny. Like I encourage everyone not to just play the main storyline, even though sometimes you do have to go to the side quests to level up and be more powerful against the actual quest line. But go ahead and try some side quests, some that are really hilarious. You're gonna love them, just trust me. So while you're playing this game, you actually can impact some of your decisions. So when anyone asks you something, you can pick from like few answers, and they impact on how you're gonna do certain things and might impact the outcomes of the story in a certain amount. So this is a part that I really liked, that I could make the decisions of what I was doing. One thing that I wish was when they have like the narration, they don't really use like a lot of like camera movements. It's really like set in one way, and that's how it goes through the whole game, which I was kind of disappointed in. If you like compare the narration in like Uncharted or God of War, but also on the other side, you know, we do have a game of like 100 and plus hours compared to like something that takes around like 30-40 hours. But still, I wish they would have done a little better job, but it still is a great game. So besides the main plot line and side quests, there's also a Mercenary Trees that you follow while you level up, and what that is for is like kind of making you stand out in between all the mercenaries and trying to defeat them. And once you do that, you get armor or weapons that make you better. You'll also get some drachmae, which is the money which you use in the game to buy stuff or make your weapons better and stuff like that. Another thing besides that is the Cult of the Cosmos that is trying to take over Greece, and so while you're going through the game, you're trying to defeat all the members of the cult. And so all the members are in different levels, so while you're going through the game, that's how you defeat them. Some of them you meet in between the quests, some of them you just have to go and look for them, because of like a little hints that you get while like exploring certain areas. What I also like is the skills tree that unlocks while you level up, so you get points and then you can spend the points on different abilities. The abilities are Assassins, Warrior, and Hunter, and then from them there's a bunch of others that you can pick based on like what you prefer, what you like. And so this is something that make fight and combat so much more enjoyable, and I loved it. Especially if you find like a certain few that you like to use, and like, you know, if you're the person who likes to go with the bow, then Hunter is the way you go, or if you're more like Assassin, then you do like being more quieter, or having you can take more damage from someone, or just a combat like hitting few people around you or stuff like that, or having a poison on your weapon. So there's a bunch of stuff you can choose from. So another thing, in this game you have a bunch of weapons that you can get, from like short like knives, swords, to like spears, and I would encourage you to try all of them, because each weapon has a different style of combat that you'll see, and so you might be like, oh, I really like swords, I've always been the sword person, but then you try spear, which was my example, and I actually loved the combat with it, because it's really hard to like defeat someone with the spear because they're so far away, or if you fight a certain enemies you might use a different weapons. So I would encourage you to try all of them, which makes also more fun because you have a different kind of combat, so it's a different experience in the combat itself. In the game you can also when you defeat people or you make a quest, you get weapons and armor, and then you can sell it to improve your weapons, or you can just make them or buy them from a smith. You can also improve your ship, which with you are actually battling. So there's a lot of components in this game that is really enjoyable. So overall, even though this game might seem very long, it is very enjoyable, at least in my opinion. But you know, sometimes I say it's better to buy a game that is like 100 and plus hours that you buy for $60 at the release or launch, than, you know, when you pay the same amount of money but you have like, I don't know, 8 hours gameplay. Sometimes that happens. I don't think we're in that kind of a time anymore, so the games are more longer, like 50-ish hours, 25, something like that, but at least like you get some kind of a good content for how much you pay. Though sometimes I really miss the feeling of actually achieving and beating the game, but yeah, I guess it's on anybody's preferences and stuff. Another part that I really enjoyed was the graphics and the artwork the developers did, like how they made the cities and the landscape was amazing. Like being Cassandra and being on a horse and trying to just like explore ancient Greece and different cities was amazing. All the statues and buildings, architecture, it really made me feel like I was in there sometimes. So that was a part I really love about this game. So I already mentioned this, but another favorite part of the game for me was the combat and like how you work with weapons, and with all the skills tree and skills you have like along the way, makes it really enjoyable to fight. And lastly, one of the things that I also enjoy was that when you get weapons or armor, you actually can change the look of how they look. kind of customize it to however you wanted the character to look like, which is something I really appreciated. But by changing that, you actually don't change the properties you have on the actual armor that you're wearing. So you might wear something, but you make it look like something else, which is an option within the game. So it's up to anybody's style, and I really enjoy that kind of a feeling. So yeah, thank you for watching. I hope you like this video, and I'll see you in the next one.